checking in on it. We got a guest during the show in just a moment, and here it is. Noah Winston. Is this your first time calling? Where are you from? What's your story? Why don't you let us know?
I'm just a poor lost boy living in Los Angeles, but not in LCSN.
A poor lost boy living. Hey, listen, Noah, we've all been there. You know, 1 minute you have a job, and then a telecom comes in, or somebody else ends up killing it. Then you're spending your your Monday nights with Mark and Nick Allen. It's just a tough time.
Look, Travis, I learned my lesson from your example, and I invented this great thing called backup options. That's why
backup
Los
options,
Angeles Valiant is going to take over the world.
Yeah, people kept telling me to do that, and also a savings account. People kept telling me to have one of those too, and I just none of that.
Dude, you're an esports journalist. You can't afford that.
No, of course not. Okay, Noah, what do you got? What are your thoughts on CLG? What are your thoughts on Nick Allen? What do you want to put out there?
What are my thoughts on CLG? I mean, my thoughts on CLG is that my boy Eugen is back playing on starting roster again, and I can't ever root against Rainover. He's just a precious little flower, and I love him so much.
So you're a CLG fan too?
We're going to take real good care of him, dude.
Look, I can't say I'm a CLG fan. I'm sorry. You only got one of the former IMT guys.
Yeah.
I think you can say that if you want. I think it's okay.
Look, I can't, right? Like, there are too many teams with just a larger quantity of former IMT players. You got TL with 3 former IMT players.
That's true.
You got FlyQuest also with 3 former IMT players and multiple former IMT staff members. So, you know, my heart goes out in a lot of different directions.
I got a great question here, actually, I think. So, coming from Immortals to TL, obviously Rainover struggled, didn't look like himself, had a lot of issues. Now on to CLG. What do you think went wrong at TL, Noah? And like, do you have any advice potentially based off that for Nick Allen that would help Rainover succeed in CLG?
Yeah, for sure. So look, I don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes at different teams, so I don't want to make assumptions about the way that TL worked or the way that CLG works. So everything is kind of speculation. Let me know if I'm off base. But I think when TL picked up Rainover, the impression I got was that they kind of expected him to be like this high level shot caller, or even if not high level, like a similar level shot caller where he's just like microing and macroing people around the map, and it's just like taking full control of the game. And I love Eugen, I love Rainover, but that's just like not the kind of player he is. And so I think the role that he was put into on TL was like not the best role for him. Like, he's a super communicative player, but he communicates in a different way than that. And I think on CLG, given that like all those players that he's playing with have significant macro knowledge, right? Like, all of them have played with very experienced players before, or they are very experienced players already. I think that's the kind of environment that he thrives more in, as opposed to an environment in which he's kind of the veteran with a bunch of rookies around him that aren't as experienced or knowledgeable as he is.
So my follow-up question would be then, with the loss of Afromu, is this a concern that Nick Allen should have, that maybe Rainover might struggle, given that they just lost what was supposedly the most vocal member of the team?
Well, again, I can only go by what I know behind the scenes, but from what I've talked to some people about, right, I think on CLG it was a lot more of a team effort than maybe people have kind of given credit for on social media. It wasn't just like Afro microing everybody around. It's not Afro in the 4 wards, right? So a lot of that macro knowledge that Afro has from being a super experienced player ends up getting imparted onto Darshan or Stixay or Huhi, and they carry that forward with him, right? Like, it's not like he's just talking about macro and going in one ear and out the other. They absorb that. And you got Tony, too, who's super experienced.
So right before you joined the call, we saw other LCS owner Andy Din of TSM tweet, "Forget TSM versus CLG. They are a dead brand. It's TSM versus TL next split. Hashtag LoL Esports, hashtag NALCS, hashtag TSM win." What are your thoughts on that statement? Is the TSM versus CLG rivalry dead? And is it all about TSM versus TL?
I mean, look, if the story of CLG over the last 5 years has proved anything, it's that no matter how close CLG gets to dead, as long as it can take one last breath, there's always a chance.
Okay.
I like it.
Like, you might not have Afro, you might not have Double, you might not have Xmithy, but like, y'all aren't dead yet.
Yeah. Noah is a former LCS team owner, and talking to Nick Allen here, who is a new LCS team owner, what kind of advice and wisdom do you want to share with them?
What kind of things are acceptable to say in a public forum? I would say, number one, you should always be friends with Andy Din, because then at least when his team beats you, he'll give you a hug. That's important.
Did he not give you a hug? Is that the lesson here? Was it?
No.
There a day you were looking for a hug and you
Still
didn't give
waiting
it?
for that hug.
Spring 2016, not friends, didn't get hugged.
Okay.
Summer 2016 was friends, got a hug, worth it.
Noah's a simple man. He just offered those hugs.
That's why he got into esports in the first place.
That's what he's
Yeah,
all
I was just pretty friendless, and I decided that esports was the place to make lots of friends. It worked great.
Hugs all around.
What else? Everything is harder than it seems right when you put the team together, but like, you've worked in esports for a long time, you already know that. I guess, like, as an extension to that, never take team environment for granted, right? Like, everything will be going super, super well, and all it takes is one little thing to derail the train. So you can't, unless you have someone that you fully trust to handle it completely on their own, and even then, like, always keep an eye on it, because in a heartbeat it can shift.
Oh, so you're saying you don't have anyone you can trust?
Well, look, I don't even have an LCS. So
It was muffled. For some reason you moved and your microphone got muffled, and it just made that part even better. You're like, I don't have an LCS. So.
Noah, so you initially came into the league, I think, right when Nick Allen left and joined Twitch. I think those timelines were pretty close together. Was that like a key factor for why you decided to, get in on the LCS right then? Was because the cancer that is Nick Allen was finally out of the Riot office?
I mean, you could put it that way. You could put it as Nick Allen leaving was just the first of many betrayals that I experienced in esports.
Jesus.
However you want to.
Oh, God.
I like the way that you put it the best.
Okay.
Nick, do you have anything for Noah here?
Good question.
When are you guys going to compete? Do you have any teams that compete in the same league or the same space right now?
CSGO.
Until recently, CSGO, I think actually one of Nick's players pulled the greatest off-the-field maneuver of all time when his tweet kind of pulled an inside takedown of the team.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, you got to catch up on your history.
I try to stay away from Twitter, as you can possibly imagine.
We're gonna breeze right past that. Smash still.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go again in the future. Previously in Overwatch, they're not anymore because we're Overwatch League and CLG isn't, which I think should say everything that you need to know about the respective future of our organizations.
No comment.
And we have Dota, but CLG does not. So anytime you want to come get a Dota team, we have the only all Korean Dota team. So we'll wreck you.
Thanks.
Very good.
Sounds good.
Well, Mark, unless you have anything for Noah, or Noah, unless you have anything else for the group, I think it was good to chat with you.
Yeah, no, that's about it for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks
for calling in,
coming
Noah.
by.
You have a lot of other concerns right now to deal with, but I don't have anything. So maybe we can grab lunch sometime in LA and talk about stuff.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have turned him down. There was 1,400 people to watch. You just shut down Travis.
Look, Travis has gone through a hard 6 months. I gotta give him one every once in a while.
And on that note, by the way, if you have a Twitch Prime sub or membership, you can sub to this channel for free. And that means Noah. Hopefully you have Twitch Prime. Anyway, thanks for calling in. We'll hear from you again in the future, I am sure. All right, so thanks again to Noah for calling in, friend of the show and former LCS owner.